Hi, welcome back to the GYST Method Show. My name is Nicole and I am here with
Kirby James, and we have something we promised we would bring you, and that is
talking about resilience, which comes after that stress inoculation and building presilience. But the thing that we want to talk about is when someone actually is resilient, sometimes everything isn't as it seems. They might appear to be resilient, think they're resilient, say they're resilient, but we know from experience there is fake resilience and actual resilience.
Yeah, and this one is the granularity on it, the details, it's tough. Yeah. So what I want to talk about first is that, quote, fake resilience. This is, to me, not when it stretches you past your limit. That's not what we're talking about. We all get stressed past your limit. If you've exercised, it's realizing you've run, walked, biked too far. And you're just like, oh God, I pushed too hard.
Yes.
I went too far. That's exceeding your capacity. That's not fake resilience. Fake resilience is really when you get the appearance of resilience, and you hear that, manage like a duck, right? Calm on the surface, paddle like hell underneath. No, what we're talking about is people who flop out cliches, flop out the things they think you want to hear, and then go on to behave completely inconsistent.
Yeah, I think this is actually where things like burnout start to present themselves, where you think someone's okay up until now, they're managing, they're great, we've touched on that before, but actually, like you said, there's panic under the surface because they don't know how to handle the situation they've gotten themselves into.
And the interesting sort of, if you will, just moment for me, when, and I want to bring this from two perspectives. Sure. One is when you see someone going through this, that's actually a magnificent opportunity to prove your mettle.
Yeah.
To prove to yourself that you actually have the bandwidth of compassion, the bandwidth to recognize someone who's floundering.
Yeah.
And really have, maybe there's nothing you can actively do for them, but you definitely cannot hold them in contempt.
Yeah, it's simple as having a conversation.
Or not having a gossipy. Oh, did you see Nicole? She was 100%. Losing,
Yes.
and it's just like, wow, really? That you see somebody struggling, and the best thing you can do to someone who's drowning is to throw a rock at them?
Yes, exactly.
Like, what the hell is that?
I think in organizations, it's really important to talk about that. I think we talked about this in a earlier, like one of our first few episodes, about truth-telling and the ability to have conversations up front with people. And I think as a business, as a leader in an organization, it's important that when you recognize it, and you should recognize it, because recognizing it means you're paying attention to your people, that you do have a conversation with people in a way that's not talking down at them, that's saying, okay, you're struggling, you need to do better. Or
they start to prescribe how to get better.
Exactly.
What was fascinating, yesterday I read an article, forget how it came to me, about Bill Gates' philosophy on meetings.
Okay.
3 things. Talk less.
As a leader.
No, everybody in the meeting.
Everybody, okay.
Okay, talk less. Listen more.
Sure.
Right? And make decisions. And for me, the only way you can really pick up on whether someone is fake resilient is if you actually really see them. Okay, yes, the movie Avatar picked up on I See You, which is actually, quite frankly, in native cultures in Canada, but also in ancient cultures of Africa. Okay. That's considered to be a greeting of great respect, because it's not I see you, it's I see into you, and I take the time to appreciate who you are, where you're at, what's going on. And I think that's an opportunity for us when we see someone who's resilience faking, is to actually tune in and figure out what the hell's going on, ask questions, and let yourself actually hear the answers.
It's funny, one indicator that I've noticed when someone is faking resilience, and by that I mean, again, it's presenting everything is okay, I can take on more, I can do more, I'll save the day, I'll be the hero, they can't do it, I'll do it. oftentimes you'll find when you go into an organization to try to see what the issue is, depending on why we're brought in, these individuals freeze up when it comes to making decisions because they're taking on too much and they're pretending like everything is okay. And I almost think, I haven't said this to you before, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. It's almost like decision fatigue sets in because they are focused on so many other things and being okay that their ability to make decisions gets clouded.
I can see that. That's actually one of the telltale signs in crisis situations.
Right.
Is when people are not trained to deal with that much
stress,
everything, that much bandwidth, that much responsibility, that much whatever.
Yep.
That's a common thing is the freeze. The flip side of that are decisions which, when you stop and you really think about them, aren't grounded in much, which means that they've closed themselves off to the input and the information of other people, and they're just like they're the horse. It's the horse with the bit between the teeth, and they're just going, and everyone's like, and you can't.
I think too, there's a lot of importance in recognizing that as you're going through that pre-resilience phase and the stress inoculation, it's not to say that individuals can't be challenged, but you do need to be mindful that if they to build that resilience muscle, it takes time.
And all training, you know this from your running days, you were talking about that before, is you have to push and push and push, and sometimes you have to push past.
Yeah.
And pushing past and going, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this, that's, to me, a healthy form of resilience and resilience development. It's the people who are, I don't know, I'm fine. Yeah. I'm so fine, you don't know how fine I am. And everything is set of dominoes about to crumble and tumble.
Exactly.
And sadly, too often, I think there's a lot of masking of deeper, more troubling and health-related things going on.
Can be, absolutely.
The other side of the fake resilience coin is that same conversation we just had, but now there's a mirror. And instead of looking at somebody else, you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, learning the skill of self-honesty, especially when you're at your most vulnerable and it's at its most difficult, that's a level of huge resilience. And I think when you detect that when you look in the mirror, it might be a rose-tinted mirror.
Yeah.
That to me gives me great concern for people that they don't actually see how close they are to the edge.
Oh, yes. And there's two edges. We were talking about this earlier. I can't remember if it was during an episode or not. But when someone is presenting that they are resilient, capable, and able to handle the situation in front of them, they make decisions in a certain way. When someone is actually resilient and rooted and able to make decisions about what's going on in front of them, they make decisions in a different way. Meaning, if we take an example of someone that has outgrown their role, they're in an organization they've been with, say, today, 5 or 6 years at the same organization is a lot now. They're looking for something else. They want to be challenged. To me, the person that is presenting as resilient but isn't yet is the one that knows they have to make a change, but all they do is complain about it. They don't actually do it.
Yeah.
The person that is truly resilient recognizes they have to make a change. They've outgrown whatever it is. They know it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of effort to get to the next step, and they actually do it.
So we've talked in the past about hiring.
Yeah.
And we have an episode coming up about hiring practices and our thoughts on that. When you see someone who is serially moving from job to job to job to job to job to job, former clients of mine, I watch their feeds on LinkedIn, and it's like, oh my gracious, you have another job with another firm. Sometimes it's people who are lost and they haven't found the right fit.
Right.
Other times it's they keep telling themselves they're resilient and they're fine, and they get into a place that challenges them to be resilient.
Yeah.
And their solution is to do exactly what you said.
Hit the pull cord.
Well, number one, they're all stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the only one around here. Am I the only one around here that knows?
Yeah.
And then number two, yeah, they immediately start looking for a way out, or eventually, the parachute button gets hit and out they go, and
Yeah.
rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse,
See,
repeat.
and that's the other thing too. Whenever I think of someone that intellectually feels ready, like in their mind they say, no, I'm ready for a change, but then that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
And they just complain about the circumstance and they look for feedback, and then you say what the actual truth is, and you look at them and you say what you want, you're capable of getting what you want, but you're not doing anything, get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
They're either going to take that on and go, oh,
Just moment.
Wow.
Flip over to the build
you know
resilience.
what? I've been spinning. I've been making
Right.
excuses. You're right. I'm scared of how much work it's going to be we'll use the job, to find another job,
Right.
to go through the interview. It's a lot of work, and I just don't know if I'm ready to do that.
Or I can do it.
Versus, you know what? Oh my God, I have been complaining about wanting a new job for a year and a half. I'm going to do something about it.
And I've experienced this coaching with people where you keep because in a coaching capacity you don't make. You're
Yes.
the mirror, right?
Correct.
And it's just like, do you see this? This is what I see. Do you see this?
Yep.
And I have had recently a client who got to the point where they were one step away from changing their life.
Mm-hmm.
And it terrified them.
Yeah, it's scary.
And they shut down the coaching process because of how much fear. And we had talked about it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And that, they were actually in a stress resilience building capacity and had made tremendous progress. And for me, it was heartbreaking because it's like, oh my gosh, you were that close. And it's just, sometimes it's a step too far. It happens.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to actually developing that resilience muscle, what we talked about before about pre-resilience and stress inoculation, and actually purposefully putting yourself in scenarios where you can practice. It's a safe environment because it's a scenario.
Right.
When you actually are presented with the pathway where it's binary, decision, yes, decision, no, then you're able to do that. No one's saying that you're not going to still be a bit afraid or anxious, but you go despite, you go and. Do you know what I mean?
So, if I may, I'm going to invoke some martial arts here. So I'm a senior martial arts instructor, and this, of course, is what we practice all the time. One of the students in our school is competing at a fairly high level in mixed martial arts. Mm-hmm. He gets hit hard. Okay, it's a brutal sport.
What kind of martial art is it? Like jiu-jitsu or something?
Well, MMA is like whatever.
Okay.
I'm teaching Taekwondo and Hapkido. And so this fellow has gone to this competition. And one of the things he remarks, because he was kickboxing and he was training in all these things, he came to our school and we were spending time with him sparring. He was staying late after class for like hours and practicing sparring. And one of the things he said was, sparring is a friendly way of fighting. You've got pads, you've got protection, and while there's a lot of force, it doesn't have the same objective. Mm-hmm. And he said, then he got into that ring, and it's like, he said, now that I've started sparring this way, resilience training. When I go to do the real thing where I really need the resilience because I really do get clocked, he's like, my ability to mentally process it. The physical is a training thing. But he says my mental discipline, my mental toughness has just gone up so much because I've been practicing.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's huge.
It's that thing too where if we go back to the business context, it's the difference between you make a pitch for and win a huge contract that's going to change the course of the business, or you lose it. It's the difference between you say that you're done with your job, you hate everything, and do nothing about it and get fired. Difference between that, taking the steps to find something else and resigning gracefully. There are a lot of individuals that I find that they put out into the world, here's what I want, and it's either going to get forced onto them, good or bad, or they're going to go for it themselves. And the difference is that resilience.
And, as we were just talking about, and I've got an upcoming article in the next day or two, urgency.
Yes.
Without direction or a goal
a goal
equals Anxiety.
Yeah.
You feel the burning fire to do something, and I either don't or can't or won't set goals for myself and actually screw myself up to go towards those goals.
Right.
What have I got? I've got urgency without direction or a lack of ability to commit. I have anxiety. None of this is good.
Well, and think of how that manifests in your day-to-day life. You, in your head, think, I want to achieve this new thing. There's no timeline. There's no, like you say, urgency. There's no plan. So the anxiety of the need to change is there.
And going up.
But unless you have the resiliency to put yourself in motion, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
It's like saying that I want to lose 25 pounds and then literally sit on the couch and do nothing and then get ticked off when I don't fit anything.
Worse. You're eating bonbons and, you're drinking bevies and...
Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. So that for us is really what this whole idea of real resilience versus, quote, fake resilience is this idea that real resilience is accepting that life isn't easy and life isn't hard. And to get what you want, you've got to put it out there. You've got to come up with a real plan.
Yeah.
Light the fire under yourself and do what it takes, whether it's weight loss, general fitness, a new job, a promotion, a sales target.
Merger and acquisition.
A merger and acquisition.
Expanding the market.
Getting a business ready to sell.
Yep. Oh,
whatever it may be, get your goal, have your urgency and a real path to go there, and nurture the resilience to keep yourself going, even though there will be bad days.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be bad days. I think that's part of it too, is that while we encourage people to be optimistic, you also need to be realistic.
Yeah.
You can't think that everything's going to go great. You're going to have enough time, money, people, resources. Everyone's going to cooperate. Things are going to happen.
I mean,
it's okay.
I'm an optimistic realist, which is I hope that things go really well, and I accept that sometimes they're going to suck really bad.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get through it better than I was before.
Precisely. You keep going.
Right. That's the path.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the path.
Thank you, Kirby.
Thank you, Nicole. So thank you for watching. And your thoughts, as always, are particularly helpful. When we hear from you, it makes a difference. It inspires us.
Yeah.
But it also inspires us on what else to bring you.
Absolutely. So until next time, we hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.